Are you looking for more appropriate solutions to improve the efficiency of your retail, logistics, warehousing, or catering business? From thermal label printers to shipping scales, we sell a variety of products to do just that. Munbin, more choice for your growing business. Visit munbin.com.
We know anxiety doesn't work 9 to 5, so anyone can text Shout anytime. But being there 24/7 takes funding. Click to donate and join the thumb war for mental health.
Cherry Printers are an established printing company that produce quality products at sensible prices. From cash receipts and invoice books to GDPR-compliant, confidential visitor sign-in books, they have it all. For more information, visit cherryprinters.co.uk. Unboxed. Proudly sponsored by Cherry Printers.
Christmas. It can be an exciting time when people get together to celebrate, but it can also be a difficult time. If you're feeling worried, lonely or stressed, I've got some tips and advice that can help you. You're listening to Unboxed, an episode about Christmas.
Unboxed
with Finley Ratnet.
Finley Ratnet.
Finley!
Yes, hello and welcome to another episode of Unboxed, this one about Christmas. Now, Christmas can be a difficult time for many different reasons, from family arguments to feeling lonely, and it can be hard to escape the holiday season sometimes, particularly when you don't enjoy Christmas and everyone's talking about it, but telling someone what your Christmas has been like can help you to feel less alone. There are loads of different charities and organisations and helplines that are still there for you throughout Christmas and New Year, including on Christmas Day, whether you want to speak to a counsellor or maybe a text service, or maybe even talk to other young people on the Childline message boards or the app Tell Me, which is a good app. You can always be honest about what things are like for you. Now, Christmas can be a stressful time for families. There might be arguments at home, or you might have to spend time with people you don't really like. Arguments can sometimes happen because people drink too much alcohol. If you're worried about your family drinking at Christmas, there's plenty of advice on the Childline website to help with that. Now, not every family spends Christmas together. If your parents are divorced or separated like mine are, you might spend time with one parent but not the other. I mean, I'm spending Christmas Day with my mum and my dad on Boxing Day. And saying who you want to spend Christmas with is always okay, and it's not up to you to keep everyone happy. No matter what's happening at home, it's important to do things that help you to cope. Sometimes planning time when you'll be able to listen to music or message your friends can help. But remember, if things ever do get too much, you can always speak to Childline or other support services that are always there for you. Now, when someone dies, Christmas can bring up lots of memories of them. Even if it's been well, since they died, you could also miss someone because they can't be there. They might be in prison, hospital, or not even, just not be able to be there. You might worry about feeling sad or depressed or feel like you have to carry on. It's important to think about what's best for you. If you're struggling because you're missing someone, then try to talk about how you're feeling with someone you trust, like a friend, a parent, a carer, or another adult that you can trust. Give yourself time to remember the person you lost. You could talk about what you remember, write them a letter, or look at photos. Don't put pressure on yourself to behave in a certain way. It's okay to show if you're feeling upset. I mean, lots of people have this sort of idea that, Christmas, you have to be happy. It comes around once a year, and when it does, you have to be smiley, you have to be laughing, you have to be having a great time, you have to be feeling really, really happy. I promise you, that is not the case. And you only make yourself feel worse by, going along with that. Just let your feelings be your feelings. If you're feeling a certain way, just own it. Don't feel pressure to, feel things that other people would assume you should be feeling. It's just another day at the end of the day. So don't let, other people tell you how you should be feeling, because your emotions are your emotions. Make new memories of Christmas. Doing something you enjoy doesn't mean you'll forget the person you lost, but it can help make things easier. And I can't stress enough that, if you want to talk to someone about how you feel, there are loads of different organisations that you can speak to. You can talk to Childline, Samaritans, Shout, and there are so many other organisations there that are people don't really realise are there for you on Christmas Day as well. So, if you need those services, make use of them. Now, there might be lots of reasons that you feel lonely or isolated at Christmas. You might be away from your family or feel like there's nobody you can talk to. Or you might have had bad experiences at Christmas before. When you're feeling alone or down, it's really important that you don't keep it all to yourself. Talking about how you can feel with someone you trust will help them to understand, and it means that they can give you the support that you need and deserve. And even if things, have changed or you've had a bad Christmas in the past, there are always ways to cope and feel better. Now, spending Christmas in care or with a foster family, it can be scary spending Christmas in care or with a foster family. You might miss your parents or be worried about what it'll be like, but you don't have to cope alone. Ask your carers what will happen at Christmas. They can answer your questions about presents, what will happen on the day, or if anyone will come over, and you can tell them about any Christmas traditions that you have that you might like to keep in place. It can also be difficult if you don't know where you'll be at Christmas. It's important to talk to your carer or social worker to find out what's going to happen and how they can support you. But again, if you're worried about talking, it can help to write a letter saying what you hope for at Christmas. And celebrating Christmas often involves a lot of food and drink. If you sometimes have a problem with food or eating, this time of year might make you worried about it. You might be worried about eating too much, not wanting to eat, or maybe eating and then making yourself sick. If you start worrying about the amount you eat or think you might have a problem with food, you can talk to, again, those services about it. Just remember that those services are here to help you whenever you need them. You can find out more about eating problems on the Childline website. Just search Childline eating problems. Now, not everyone celebrates Christmas. Some people might not like the time of year and others might not because of their religion or beliefs. It's always okay to not celebrate a holiday. I mean, I wouldn't say I don't like Christmas, but actually, Christmas is really nice because, you spend it with family and you see friends and things, and, the run-up to Christmas is always exciting. You might watch Christmas films or listen to lots of Christmas music. But I think Christmas and New Year is I find it quite a sad time, because it makes you realise how fast time goes. And, especially New Year's Eve, I always find quite difficult because everyone's sort of celebrating going into a new year. All you're really celebrating is that time going by. But then again, that is just another day. And it's just, the next day on the calendar. So just, if you are worried about that, just speak to someone you trust and, explain that to them. It might seem like everyone celebrates Christmas when every advert on TV is about Christmas and the shops are full of decorations and gifts. But even if you or your family doesn't celebrate Christmas, you can still enjoy this time of year. It's a holiday, and that means you have some time to relax, enjoy yourself, and see friends and family. If you feel left out or different because you're not celebrating Christmas, you could talk to your parents or carers. They might not realise you feel this way. So if you talk to them, you can always get support. If you can't talk to them, you can always get support from the support services that I've sort of mentioned throughout this episode. But if you go to unboxedpodcast.org/support, there is a list of support services on our website. And there's also wellbeing apps that you can download. And there's also, so support services and support apps that I think are really good. And then also what I do, after, when I publish each episode, there's also a specific page that's put on the website about the episode. So, for example, this episode, if you go to unboxedpodcast.org/support/Christmas, there'll be a few different, very short bit of information about Christmas and things, but there'll also be a link to the Childline website where you can, read what I've spoke to you about. And I do that every episode. So I've done body image before. So if you go to unboxedpodcast.org/support/body image, you've got a bit of information about what I covered in the body image episode. And if you click the source button, it takes you to the Young Minds website. So it's either Young Minds or Childline usually. And there's lots of information on there, ways you can get support. And you can read through the information that I've given out during the episode. So yes, that's the first part of this episode. Just remember that if you are worried about Christmas, do speak to someone you can trust.
A mental health podcast for young people.
Unboxed
With Finley Ratnet.
Finley Ratnet.
Now, I have mentioned in this episode that among all the fun and festivities, Christmas can be an overwhelming time. So I've got some tips for looking after your mental health over the holidays. The reality for many of us, including myself, is that when Christmas comes around, there's constant pressure on those with mental health problems to be happy all the time. But of course, that's easier said than done. So I've got some advice here on things you can do to ensure you can still enjoy the festive period this year, but also look after your mental health. So first one, take time out for yourself. It's so important to take time out every day, not just in the festive period. If you feel yourself getting a bit overwhelmed or upset, take 5 to 10 minutes away from everyone on Christmas Day. Just have a bit of time to yourself. Usually I go to my bedroom to watch something on television or, I don't know, Netflix. So I will be taking some time out on Christmas Day. But it can be quite an overwhelming day, so allow yourself time to recharge. Like I said to you at the start, because my parents are separated, I'll be seeing my mum on Christmas Day this year and then go to my dad's on Boxing Day. And then I thought, I really like going to Manchester. Manchester is my favourite place. So why not go to Manchester as soon as I can after Christmas? So the plan is, my mum's on Christmas, my dad's on Boxing Day, the 26th, and on the 27th I'm off to Manchester for 2 nights. So I'm really looking forward to that, and that will allow me to have that time to myself and, bring myself back down to earth, if that makes sense. The next tip on here, get back into your sleep routine. A good night's sleep is so important when it comes to looking after your mental health. It's said that teenagers need an average of 9.5 hours sleep each night. When it comes to the festive period, ensuring you get enough sleep can become difficult due to things like late nights at home, maybe parties that you go to. To make sure you get back into your normal sleeping routine easily, try going to bed at normal times as the festive period draws to a close. This will make getting up for school a lot easier and in turn will help your mental health a lot. Exercise as well. Physical activity releases a chemical called endorphins, which makes you feel good. So if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed or low at Christmas, maybe go out for a walk, or you can go on your own or with someone else, or maybe go for a bike ride or even a run. I mean, I've got a bike and I usually cycle everywhere. But the last couple months, it's been freezing cold up there, and when you're cycling and the breeze hits your hands on the handles, it is freezing cold. So I've been walking to college, and that's just as bad. But it's the breeze when I'm on my bike that really it's painful. Even when I wear gloves. So I've been walking. But when the sort of weather gets a bit warmer, I'll get back on my bike. I've been riding to the studio there to do my radio show, but that was freezing cold when I did that the other day. Try to relax. It's easy for me to say Christmas is fun, just relax, but the reality is that it can be tricky. Try doing things like yoga, breathing exercises, or meditation to help you calm down if you're feeling a bit stressed over the festive period. Just because it's Christmas, it doesn't mean caring for your mental health has to be put on hold. You're allowed to take breaks and do things that perhaps don't involve the whole family. Mental health and physical health are equally important, and it's really important to remember that. If you fell and grazed your knee on Christmas Day, put a plaster on it. So if your mental health needs a plaster, you're allowed to do something about it instead of putting it on hold. Well, there you go. Thank you very much for listening to this episode about Christmas on the Unboxed podcast. For more information and some tips, go to unboxedpodcast.org/support/Christmas. Thank you very much for listening to this episode of Unboxed, and I'll speak to you in the next one. Bye-bye.
A mental health podcast for young people.
Unboxed.
With Finley Ratnet.
Finley Ratnet.
Finley!